Hi, it's Nat. Welcome to another video. It's 12:30 a.m. and I have no script, but I look so good. So I really need to take advantage of that. So we're going to talk about character archetypes. Yeah, so turns out that wasn't the best idea. How you can use them to really level up your story. Let's do it. Okay, so as we have discussed many a time in previous videos, what is the most important part of your story? I'll pause, I'll let you think. It's your character. It's your character. I hope you got that one right because we drill it here. Your character is so freaking important. And the most important part about your character is what they want, what they're trying to achieve, where they're trying to be, and what's stopping them. That's literally it. Those two things together will literally just create the rest of your story. Seriously, it's that easy. So we are going through the archetypes as a way to hack that process and find out even sooner, even easier, what your character truly wants and what they truly fear and how you can use that all to your advantage. Hold on, I'm Googling the history of these archetypes. Hold on. Before I let myself finish that Google search, hi, it's Nat from the future. As I mentioned, I recorded this at 12:30. By the time I was done, it was probably like 1:30. So I'm a little bit loopy. It's still a good video, but there are like some sections that I just fully spaced talking about. So I'm gonna jump in occasionally and add corrections to myself. So you're gonna see me from time to time in this video. Back to the Google search. Whoa. I didn't know it was the same dude. I love this guy. Okay, his name's Carl Jung. Awesome psychologist named Carl Jung worked out 12 archetypes that can be applied in real life. They use it a lot for branding and businesses, but it can also be used like crazy for storytelling. Here's why. Because in these archetypes, Jung gives you what they want, what they fear, and how they behave. Amazing. That's like half of the puzzle of your character. He gives you hints. He gives you hints as to how they behave. But that's something I talk about later. You kind of have to piece together the behavior of your character yourself. Oops. So today we're gonna go over those 12 archetypes individually, one by one. We're gonna talk about every single one, and then we are going to talk about them in good versus evil. So we're gonna be looking at some awesome protagonists and awesome villains in each archetype, which I'm so excited for. Also no, we're going over half today and half next week, because this video turned out a lot longer than I thought it would. So we're ending at the hero today, starting at the lover next week. We'll round it out next week, and then the week after that we'll go into protagonists and villains. A couple of quick caveats before we really get started. I will be telling you the why of every single fear on this archetype list. This why is kind of from me. I was a little bit hard-pressed to find an actual motivation or reason for each of the archetypes' fears in my research. So I used a little bit of my own psychology knowledge, which there's a lot. If you saw my PTSD video, I think it's this side, somewhere. It's in there. I know some stuff about psychology. So I kind of wrote out a why behind the fear. But it's called because. That because part of each archetype card is not the whole true because. It's not the whole reason. This will kind of make more sense when we go into it. I wonder if I should put this disclaimer at the end. But your job as the author is to figure out what event in this character's life, when did they learn, what taught them to fear this thing? What taught them that the because is true? So I guess the because is kind of like a good misbelief to use. They build their world on this because, and it's wrong. So what in their life, what did they experience that made them think that way and feel that way? That's what you need to figure out, because it's going to be different for every single character. You could have 1,000 characters of the same archetype, and they could have 1,000 different ways that they became that archetype and learned that because is their because, you know? So you need to figure that out. And then you also need to figure out how their fatal flaws and redeeming qualities present in them, because every character can be different in behavior too. So yeah. Let's do a quick overview of the basics first. Carl Jung's 12 archetypes look a little something like this. You have 4 central motives, I guess, motivations: provide structure, spiritual journey, connect to others, and leave a mark. So this is like just in general, very, very, very high level what this character wants. Then you break it down a little bit more into like these one-word descriptions. So every character is going to try to achieve their main motivation through a certain thing. For example, the ruler tries to provide structure using control. So that's kind of like their tool, their main tool. So with all of that being said, here are the 12 archetypes. First we have the innocent. The innocent is in the spiritual journey category, and their little word is safety. They are very motivated by finding safety and keeping safety. So that's what their whole world is. Then we have the sage, also the spiritual journey category, but they use knowledge. Knowledge, skill, that's their main tool, their main weapon when it comes to the world. And then last we have the explorer. Their word is freedom. They want freedom. They're using their freedom. Freedom. Then you have the leave a mark section. The rebel operates from a space of liberation, different from freedom. The explorer is just wanting to be free. The outlaw wants to be liberated, so freed from something. The explorer just wants to be free in general. The outlaw wants to escape something, kind of. The magician works through power, and the hero aims for mastery. Then in the connect to others section, you have the lover, who really, really prioritizes and cares about intimacy, connection, deep connection. You have the jester, whose word is pleasure. So any kind of pleasure, any kind of enjoyment, that's what the jester's there to find and take. And then you have the orphan. Their word is belonging. They search for, create, and wish for belonging. Then lastly, the provide structure section. This is the caregiver, who operates mainly through service, the ruler, who really, really, really values control, and the creator, who uses innovation to provide structure to the world. So there are the 12 types. Now let's go deeper into each type. First up, we have the innocent. The innocent wants to get to or find the ideal world or situation. They're looking for paradise, and they want to reach this paradise so they can be happy. On the flip side, they fear punishment and being unhappy, literally negativity in and of itself, because negativity threatens their safety. They feel like it is dangerous to be around or experience or even acknowledge and look at sometimes negativity. Their fatal flaws are that they are naive. They trust too much. They deny that problems exist. They just, look away and try to pretend that everything's all right. But their redeeming qualities are that they're open-minded, trusting, and honest. When writing the innocent, you are writing a character that will always prioritize happiness over everything else. If they think that they can reach some kind of paradise, they will go for that, unless the punishment of going after it is so much worse than the punishment of staying where they are. You want to give them an experience in which negativity did really threaten their safety. So when did they feel like someone negative, or someone who represented that negativity, or someone who was just even angry or unhappy was dangerous? Or maybe when their own anger and negativity led to an issue that was dangerous. Give them some kind of memory attached to that so that that fear has a place to grow from. The innocent's character arc typically follows them learning that negativity, dissatisfaction, anger, unhappy feelings exist in the world, and that's not a bad thing. So that is all about the innocent. Next, let's take a look at the sage. The sage's main desire is to find the truth so that they can have confidence in their knowledge and skill. They fear being fooled or misled by others and being ignorant. essentially they fear feeling smaller than those around them. If anyone else knows more than them, they are automatically minimized. And the reason that they fear this is because deep down, they feel like they are so unprepared and incapable for life and for the real world. They're trying to learn as much as they can, to prepare as much as they can, and so it's threatening when they don't know enough or when someone else knows more. Their fatal flaws are that they can be arrogant, passive-aggressive, and detached from reality. A lot of the time the sage will withdraw to learn, and they will almost always prioritize getting knowledge and learning about a situation over participating in the situation and actually doing something, making a decision, being a part of the group. They are very cerebral and withdrawn and intense, especially when they feel like they don't know as much as they should. Their redeeming qualities, though, are that they're wise, intelligent, and logical. When they do make decisions, they are fantastic at it. When they feel properly educated, properly knowledgeable, they are confident. They're so smart and they know it and everyone else knows it. When you are writing the sage, you are writing a character who has a lot of anxiety about what's coming up and who needs to figure out how to do it. They would rather do that than anything else in life. It doesn't matter what else you give them. They want to be focusing on learning and anticipating. They're also usually pretty good at sniffing out people who are misleading others or who are manipulative. So that could be a redeeming quality you could throw in there, is that they have an excellent radar for stuff like that. Also, when writing the sage, you want to give them an experience in which a lack of preparedness, a level of incapability, a time when because they couldn't do something, something horrible happened, or there were huge consequences, or when someone else was unprepared and incapable. Bring the fear to life. A good character arc for the sage will have some element of them becoming comfortable with not knowing and being forced into not knowing. They're gonna hate that. Unpredictability, new experiences, change, not it for the sage. Put them through it. Next, we have the explorer. This is me. The creator might be me too, but this is like so me that it was painful. The explorer wants to explore and experience the world and all that it has to offer so they can find a better life and find their own identity. They fear entrapment. They fear being stuck, being confined. They will run from that like the plague. If they are trapped, they are gone. Because the grass is always, always, always greener on the other side and they don't want to miss out. Their fatal flaws oh my god, I feel targeted. Their fatal flaws are that they are flighty, alienated, and self-indulgent. Because they feel like the world is something that is there to be experienced and there to take advantage of, and because that's what they want to do constantly, is get those new fun experiences, they are much more likely to follow that impulse than a lot of the other archetypes. They're gonna be flighty in the name of being self-indulgent. Their redeeming qualities are that they are independent, nonconformist, and brave. These are some of the most risk-forward characters you will ever write. The explorer prioritizes exploring and experiencing over everything else. They are not going to worry about whether quitting their job is going to impact their financial security, even though they should. They're not going to worry about stuff like that. All they're worried about is getting the experience. The explorer's keystone memory, as I like to call it, is going to be of a time when they were trapped or constricted, when they couldn't explore, and how that led to them missing out. What did they have to skip because of that? What part of themselves do they feel like they're missing? What experience do they feel like they lost due to being stuck in one spot? And how have they're gonna have a trail of, I say this from experience, they're gonna have a trail of jumping from place to place, searching for that thing, that experience that's going to lead them to a better life and to that identity that they're searching for. They might find it, but if they don't, why not? Why has that trail not led to success yet? What are they actually looking for? Because they're not looking for adventure, really. The explorer's character arc is going to have some kind of theme of them learning to stay put, just hold still, and maybe even explore on a smaller scale, like explore a new hobby rather than a new state. Those will be very good for the explorer. The explorer is one that you might have to trap. You might have to be like, oh no, I'm stuck because of the law, you know, because otherwise the explorer is not going to be there. Okay, now we have the rebel. I love the rebel. I love the rebel. They want revolution, to fight and create change, so they can overturn those who try to oppress or hurt them and others. They fear being overpowered or controlled because to them, being powerless is the ultimate danger, and they value using their power to protect those who can't protect themselves. Enneagram 8. Anybody? Anybody? This is one of the strongest characters that you will ever write, and I'm not just saying that because it reminds me of my Enneagram. This character I think is cool because it's similar to the caretaker in that they really care about the people around them, but they care about it in terms of liberation. They want to help people gain their own power. Their fatal flaws are that they are reckless, careless, and impulsive. So if they have an idea for what's gonna be the most liberating or what's gonna help the situation the most, they're just gonna go for it. They're not gonna ask. They're not gonna ask permission, and they probably won't even ask forgiveness. They're just impulsive. Which means that a lot of the time they are making decisions that are not going to be the best in the long term. The rebel's redeeming qualities are that they are individualist, they take risks, and they aren't afraid to lead. When you are writing a rebel, you are writing someone who will fight any authority, pretty much, even if it's just a little bit, even like a healthy debate. They're gonna fight. That's how they live their life. They're going to determine who has less power in a situation and who has more, and how they can balance the scales or free the person who has less. But in order to be this character, to have that ability, they need to have a memory of a time in which they learned that you're in danger if you're powerless. That power is safety, liberation is safety, rules and laws and authority are going to hurt you, and they're going to hurt other people. So you need to protect yourself, protect everyone else, stay in power. They need to learn that somewhere. The rebel's character arc is going to consist of them learning that it's okay to lose power and not try to get it back. It's okay to be powerless for a minute. Next is the magician. The magician's kind of a tricky one. Every time I'm like, what is this? What? They want to understand and master the world and all of its laws, so they can alter reality and bring their dreams to life. They fear unintended results because they know what they want, and it slows them down and also reflects poorly on them if things go wrong, which they are very image-based. I mean, it depends, obviously, on like your character's personality, but a lot of magicians are gonna be image-based. Their fatal flaws are hubris, they're manipulative, and they can be tricksters. You know, they're not dependable, they're not reliable. When they're having a hard time. The redeeming qualities, though, are that they are tactful, clever, and perceptive. They will solve problems in a new way that other people haven't thought of. They will persuade people in a way that others can't. They are just, there's literally, they're called the magician because there's some kind of magic in these people. So this is someone who, like the sage, very much wants to understand everything that's happening, but only for their own gain and to change what's happening. When you are writing a magician, you want to write kind of a backstory that explains why they are so results focused. Why do you need to change this? What are you running from? Why do you need to be seen and recognized when you change this thing? What's there? And the magician's arc, if you're going for a positive arc where the characters fail until they learn, the magician's arc is going to consist of the magician realizing, oh, I don't always know everything. I can't always change reality. Sometimes reality is just reality. You have to sit with it. And yeah, sometimes messing with reality is gonna have unintended results. It's what's gonna happen. Next is our hero, our dear, dear hero who wants to be brave and courageous so they can change the world for the better, but fears weakness and cowardice because subconsciously the hero believes that no one else can save the world quite like them. They're very egotistical. They have this high horse that they're always on, even though most of these motivations, unless your character's like really killing it and super healthy, these because parts are not going to be cognitively registered. They're just in the background. The hero subconsciously believes no one else can save the world quite like them. Subconsciously, they believe they are the only ones who can fix this or help it. Their fatal flaws are that they can sometimes be arrogant, egotistical, and they underestimate other people. They feel like they are the biggest one in the room when often they are not. And their redeeming qualities are that they are strong, courageous, and resilient. They're awesome characters. Awesome, awesome characters. When you are writing the hero, you're writing a character who's always going to be thinking about how to do something better, how to improve something, and most of the time it's gonna be a risky, bold, very courageous method. They're going to butt heads with people who don't like change, who prefer that things stay the same, or who sit on the sidelines when things are bad. They will perceive people like that as weak and cowardly, and so that's a great point of tension right there for your character. Stick your hero character in a room with someone who is complacent. They'll hate that. Write a backstory that explains why they feel like no one else is as strong or capable as they are. The hero's journey. The hero's journey in these archetypes is to learn that they are not the only strong, courageous one, and strength and courage can come in many different forms. Just because you're the hero doesn't mean that you're the only strong, courageous person or the only person who knows what to do. Let other people do things too. Okay, so that is all for this week. Next week is an off week, but I'm still going to post part 2 of this character archetypes series. We're going to be going through the lover to the creator, just because these videos are long. And then the week after that, we will be looking, like I said, at some protagonists and villains, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell to be notified when those things happen. Like and comment if you feel like it. I love hearing from you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Happy writing. More info to come next week. Happy trails.